Hi people. I got a request of someone a couple of months ago about the what I thought about the shark attacks that have been happening in Perth in Western Australia and up and down the coast. What we have to think about is what's attracting these sharks so close to shore. There seem to be more and more sightings of sharks really close in at our beaches, at our populated beaches, and getting more and more prevalent month after month. Now, is it because of the amount of trawling that's going on out in the oceans off our coastline? The Chinese, the Russians, I think maybe the Japanese, whether the Russians are there or not, I don't know. But they have humongous motherships, huge trawling nets, and just grab everything. Is that depleting the sharks' food supply or the food source? So they have to come in closer to our coastline for food. Or another something else I was thinking about is maybe it has something to do with all the pollution that we pump into the oceans. I mean, if you look at our coastline, right around Australia, there's heavy industry right on the coast. There are hotels, motels, you name it. A lot of the stormwater drains go into the ocean. We have, in different parts of the country, we have sewage treatment plants right on the ocean, and a lot of that gets treated as much as they can and pumped into the ocean. We have all our river systems that are polluted with pesticides and chemicals from farming that ultimately end up in the ocean. All these things you have to sort of take into account. You have to sort of think, well, basically what we have to think about is what is attracting these sharks. So look, go back 30 years. When I lived in Perth, I used to go to Coogee Beach all the time during the summer. Used to take my kids down there. Beautiful beach. But there was an abattoirs on Rockingham side of Coogee, I think it was. Yeah. And every now and again, out past the groin they had there, you'd see a pinkish bloom floating down towards Fremantle. And I used to think to myself, I was, in my mid-30s then, I suppose, or 30 odd. And I used to think to myself, that's the stuff that's coming out of the abattoirs, like all the blood and guts was getting pumped into the ocean. And I used to say to friends I was down there with, geez, that would attract sharks, if there were any sharks there. But during that time, I never saw any sharks. My kids never saw any sharks. No shark attacks, but the stuff was getting pumped into the ocean. So I mean, what we all have to think about is basically that, is what is attracting more and more sharks close to our coastline, close right in. There's a reason for it. Whether the ocean is warming up or it's cooling down, and that's bringing them closer inshore. There are quite a few possibilities, but I'm just I just think about what has happened in the past 30 years in everything, and a lot of stuff has to do with all the chemicals that is in everything these days. And all that stuff is getting washed into the ocean. Ultimately, at the end of the day, that's where it goes. Well, that could be a possibility. But the thing is, the sharks have always been there and always will be. So basically, we encroach on their territory. So we just have to be alert at all times, especially now because there's so many sightings happening. But one of the research institutes should take a serious look at, well, they probably are, why there are so many sharks and so many shark attacks. And maybe we may find an answer. Well, it won't be overnight, but sooner or later someone will work out what's happening. But all we can do is be alert at all times. And look, I was brought up at the beach. I used to go there every summer, all day long. Swim, never saw a shark. Never heard of a shark attack. There probably were, but in those days most of them would have been over in the eastern states. Very rarely in WA. So something is attracting the sharks to the West Australian coastline, particularly around Perth, north and south. Maybe it may have something to do with our industrialisation right on the coastline. Just a couple of thoughts. Catch ya.